Oh, Happy November 5th. um, I'm glad you're here. Uh,
You are cutting out just a bit off and on. So,
well, okay.
if he cuts out completely, don't panic. Just stick around. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would imagine there's a whole lot of traffic on the internet this evening. Just sort of guessing, a little intuition um, on that. So anything's possible. Um, so let's just start with just a moment or two of drumming, kind of try to get here into this whatever this space is. Nothing to do but just sort of to listen and center as best we can. Bless the drum. Um, and so let's cleanse our space and ourselves, shake off the energies of the day. Now turn to the west. Hail to the spirits that ride the west wind. You who bring us the learning of our experiences and the vision of the future. We need you. Come and join with us. Come. Thank you. Hail to the spirits that ride the north wind. You who come out of the dark. We have need of the courage that you bring us for the rough roads ahead, however they may be. Come and join with us. Come. Thank you. And I turn to the east. Hail to the spirits that ride the east wind. You who come with the dawning of the day and the opening eye of the morning sun, come, help to reveal to us what we need to see, what we need to focus on. Come. Hail to the spirits that ride the south wind. You who come with music, the three strains of music, of joy, of sorrow, and of peace. Come, join with us and give us the words to tell our stories. Come. Come, thank you. And to the spirits of this place, the places where we are, I give thanks to you for your hospitality, for the support, the accompaniment, the fellowship of the spirits around us. We thank you, and let us attune to one another in this evening. Thank you. Father Sky, Mother Earth, ancestors, nature spirits, people of the Fae, all of us warmed by the great spirit fire. May you find this sweet. Hooray, hooray, hooray. We are here in this place now, clay and water from the earth, sun and wind from the heavens, a divine home for soul, abiding at the center of our being, in the center of the worlds, on the threshold to the horizonless otherworld. We are here in this place now, and it is good. So be it. Again, welcome everyone. Thanks for sort of coming in to share this time. I know Sandy would be here too, but she's working on the election somewhere. So I guess she'll be joining us by recording. And okay. Let's see. I was going to talk. I have it on the agenda. I was going to say some things about some differences in the Greek and Irish elements. But I found today to be a rather unsettled and unsettling day, at least, for me. There's a lot going on in the world, huh? And a lot to divide our attention. So I'd like to stay really focused on what's most important for us right now in our process. To do it with full-heartedness, to complete our agenda with efficiency, and then we can go on to the other concerns of the day, hopefully refreshed and strengthened. So, I guess without further ado, let me turn to Tom's book. And if you read the pages, you'll know he put the elements in the direction, the Greek elements in the directions. And I should say that not everybody does it in the same. Not everybody puts them in the same place, and that's okay. In my world, let's see, in my world, Well, I've got water on the east and the west. Ham Lake is in the east here. We've got this creek or drainage ditch that's actually a little creek. I'd prefer to call it a creek. There on the east. So these things are portable and flexible. But I liked Tom's reasoning regarding the placement of the elements around the wheel of the horizon. For example, he says, water belongs in the west with autumn, for water runs downward into the earth like the setting sun. Water seeks its resting point, as the sun seeks its evening rest below the horizon, as human beings, exhausted from the day, seek a place to lie down and rest at the day's end. It says it so well, I think. And so there's logic to why he and others would put water in the West. So, I guess we'll jump into our first journey. These journeys will be pretty heavily guided tonight, as usual, up to a point, and then you'll be on your own with whatever spirits are there. But I'd like to craft the experience of these elements as best I can, and as as I'm guiding a journey, kind of use it as guardrails, but not a wall. Sometimes it's more fun if you jump over the guardrail and see what's on the other side. And if you get a calling like that, go ahead. I mean, don't feel inhibited to your own promptings. Okay, so I'll lead the way, but you may or may not need to follow. Um, so the during our Wheel of the Year series, each time toward the end of the session, we have a communal drink, and I try to make the point there that water in our hands, when we're holding that water, whatever it is, has been all over. The molecules in that water have been all over in earth and sky, under the ground, and they're ancient. These are the elements of an ancient being with whatever kind of water or any kind of liquid that has water in it would be. And as they're speculating, the most of the water on Earth came from outer space. And so when you hold water, you've got something of eternity there. And it's kind of funny because on the one hand, water seems so ordinary. You turn on the tap, and there it is. Um, on the other hand, it's like an immense being. When you consider the size of the oceans, and now they're talking about like underground ocean that has more water than the surface oceans combined. So that's pretty immense being with us, and on which we depend for life. And it takes many shapes and doesn't lose its essence. It's like, at least my conception of the divine. It's all over the place. Yeah, as I said, it takes many shapes. and doesn't lose its own identity. It can take on lots of things, but it's still, in essence, H2O. Okay. So, what we want to do in this journey is go into the water and to experience it as completely as possible. In the spirit world, of course. We're not going to go to the bathtubs. Of course, here you can just go outside right now because it's raining. This is a spirit journey. Some people have some discomfort with the water journeys, but you'll be able to breathe. It's okay. Like I said, it's a spirit journey, and you won't be swept away. So we'll be going into the water, letting it wash over you and through you, and then going upstream to the source. That is the real source, the spirit of water. And there to ask, what. Now, okay, so just that, the experience of it is enough. However, when we go upstream and connect with that spirit of the water, the spirit of the source of the water, even, you can always ask, "What do I need to know about you?" Or is there a way I should honor you? And you may want to just commune with it, and not necessarily ask a question. But if you are curious, you got to do what in that moment seems right for you. Okay. So yeah, let me get set up here with my adjustments. Should be well adjusted, but I'm not yet. So as I said, I'm gonna talk you through this, and then certain times I'll stop talking and leave you to it, whatever's there, and then with the return, both verbal as well as the drum callback. Won't leave you there. Okay. All right, so as always, let's begin with a moment spent with your helpers. Just spend a couple of moments with them, attuning, communing, dancing, celebrating the moment. They are aware that in a moment they'll be taking you to a stream. But for this moment, it's just you and they together. And when you and they are ready, they'll take you to a stream. Could be in a woods, could be in a meadow, could be anywhere. But a stream pleasantly moving, with a warm sun overhead. You feel safe and invited. And feel free to wade into the comfortably warm water. You can lie down in the water, and you'll continue to breathe, even as the water flows around you and over you. It caresses you. You could almost join your consciousness with the water and look out at the world from the perspective of the water, to see the world as water sees the world. And this water also flows, caressing every cell of your body, bathing them, cleansing them. Carrying away adverse energies, anything you don't need. Carrying them far downstream. Cleansed and now partly water yourself. You can move upstream toward the spirit that's the source of all water. It draws you to it. It knows you, for you are mostly water anyway. Who knows what it feels like to come into the presence of that source of all water, the spirit of water itself. Once in that presence, if it feels appropriate, you might ask, what do I need to know about you? How should I honor you? Is there anything else I should know right now? And when you feel it's complete, thank this spirit. Knowing a part of it is always with you, always in you, always of you. And you can leisurely, gently flow down the stream to where you entered the water. Where your helping spirits await you. They warm you, dry you, and perhaps they have some insights about your encounter with the spirit of water. And it is time to return. Any thoughts to share or experiences or anything the water wants to tell us? No. Okay. I couldn't really exactly do the journey while I was narrating it, but even so, I suddenly had sort of had this series of memories of watery things. Like the Atlantic Ocean, where I'd almost yearly go visit, or the Chesapeake Bay, where I'd go spend time on that beach, or a couple times in California to the Pacific Ocean. Or as a kid, we used to go to the Conicajig Creek and go canoeing there, and and some other things, But suddenly it's like it was a reminder of the number of ways that like water has been involved in my world that I just really hadn't really registered. In fact, some of them I'd forgotten about, some of the memories. Yeah, Heidi, were you wanting to say something?
Mm. I was just kind of in awe of what a physical experience that was. Like, I feel very tired all of a sudden. Like, I actually felt my body and my cells and the water in my body. It felt like it was moving with the river or with the
Mm,
current. And I just kind of felt really pulled to the source. So I just feel a little bit like, whoa, that was a deep one. But the simple answer that I got when I got there was carry me with you.
mm,
And I don't know if that means literally carry a little bit of water with me or think about me more, or I'm not quite sure what that statement means yet, but I'm still feeling like a current.
mm,
I'm not like it that was a deep one. It was very strange how quickly I went with the water.
mm.
So yeah, I'm still processing. I think it's gonna take a minute, but
Ah,
that
that's
was
good.
interesting how visceral that was.
Mm. Uh, in Mongolian shamanism, Lake Baikal is a big thing in that area. It's one of the largest lakes in the world. And when they do their first, they're like 9 levels in their shamanic world. And just even the first level at the like initiation is calls on like the waters of 9 lakes, and so the water becomes important there. It's like a baptism. You know. So even like conventional religion has this little watery presence. Anything else? Yeah,
No.
Anne?
Well, I pull cards every morning, and I don't remember how long it's been that I decided that I would think of the different waters that I that are close to me. And a lot of them are up near Washburn, Wisconsin. I think of the different places I go there, um, and some other bodies of water. Some of them are here. But basically, I ask which one wants to give me a message today. And so when I put my hand over the cards, I'm visualizing the different bodies of water. So my journey to the source of water, it was thankful that I think of the water every day in all those different places. I mean, it was a familiar, um, wonderful place, wonderful visit for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, thanks. You know, I was gonna say, something you said reminded me of something that's gone already. Um, my memory flows like water. Yes, there it goes. Um, oh yeah, I used to carry a little pendant with water from the River Shannon in Ireland. I still have some of the water, but not the pendant around there. So, and oh yeah, what I was going to say too, water is sometimes used for divination. I mean, you're looking into a bowl of water. It's not my strength for sure, but some people can do it quite well, and divine messages, from what they see or feel from the water. And in fact, somewhere down the line, we'll be doing another journey dealing with water and its reflections and that sort of thing. Anything else about water? I mean,
Well,
yeah, Kathy.
this water journey is about the easiest one I have. Well, I love the water, but it could just flow right into it and just become the water. And what was interesting is there was a lot of noise outside my house, and I kept trying to ignore it. So finally, I looked out the window to see what it was. But I found it just absolutely, I could instantaneously jump back into it or dive back into the water. But that's a really good way for me to journey.
Hmm.
It's
Ah,
very
remember that
gentle.
then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very smooth.
Uh-huh. Thanks. And Kathy. Kathy Grimes.
Um, one of my memories was of frozen water, of ice up in Ely, of Lake One. And that was one of the most powerful Februaries I ever had when I sat in front at Lake One, and it was so noise in a strong noise, but it was quiet. It was so quiet that it actually hurt my ears, and it wanted to invite me into it. And I've never been one for winter. I could escape it fine. Um, but that memory of water and how powerful it was as a frozen piece of land there, it was amazing to me. And so I had that memory.
Yeah, well, thanks. One of the many forms. And of course, we come from water. We spend our first 9 months of life, our bodies anyway, swimming underwater. Um, there. So, and of course, I think Tom mentioned it somewhere. The ancients argued. The Greeks argued about what's the original element, and some said it was water or air, or, earth. You could take your pick. It seems like a funny question to me, but because there isn't much without the combination. All right. So the other thing was, of course, Earth. And well, oh wait, I wanted to do this. There's a song. There's a Peter Mayer. I don't know if he's a songwriter, a singer in Stillwater, here in Minnesota, and he has a song. I think I can do this on with screen share. It's called Ocean Mary, and it's sort of it kind of expresses the mystical aspect of water in a unique way. So let me see if I can get this. This will be a musical interlude here. Let's let's see. I don't know if I can. Let's. Now let's see if I can. Whoops, I lost everything. Oh, there we are. Okay, there won't be any video for this. It'll just be the music.
There's a street in a river town, and on that street is Mary's house. By the house is a deep ravine, and running there is a magic stream. Laughing over the sand and rocks, it runs the length of Mary's block. Another mile to the riverside, and 1,000 more to the ocean wide. Hey. Down in that ravine one day, by the water Mary lay, put her hand in the shallow stream, and Mary had a magic dream. She imagined that inside her stirred all the waters of the earth, every puddle, every creek, and every one of the 7 seas. She could feel the fishes roll in her fingers and her toes, and in her chest the Gulf Stream flows. Now, ever since her dream that day, people say that Mary's changed, but they sympathize when they suppose it must be strange to be the ocean. She senses when the salmon swim and hurricanes lick her skin. Asia tickles her left arm and the moon above tugs her heart. Her front is day, her back is night. She recollects the dawn of life. Tidal waves run up her spine, and lightning tingles when it strikes. She can feel the fishes roll in her fingers and her toes, and in her chest the Gulf Stream All this happens, so it seems, because of Mary's magic stream. But some will say that lakes and wells and even rain can cast a spell. And every water drop you ask tells a tale of oceans vast. So careful when you take a drink, 'cause there's magic in the kitchen sink.
There's a lot. There's a lot of meditations that could be derived from that song about the moon and the heart and the flowing of the waters and feeling the salmon. Yeah, there's just a lot there. And so anyway, I just wanted. It's a more fun way of doing what we're doing in a way. A little background music with it, and he's a gifted songwriter. Okay, now I'll talk about Earth a bit. I'll talk a little bit about Earth. We'll take a little break, and then we'll do an Earth journey. So I put these two together because Earth, I think, is a good partner to water. It certainly balances water's fluidity, and it gives water shape. And to go to either extreme wouldn't be too healthy. To be too rigid is adverse as being too fluid or formless if we're going to get through life. Navigating life takes a combination of both. We wouldn't survive if we weren't adaptable. So there's that fluidity that is required. And at the same time, we need some things to be able to stand on and to depend on. So Earth provides substance, stability, structure. But a dry earth loses fertility. And the common placement around the horizon for the earth is to the north. Now here's what Tom said about the earth. Excuse me. Earth is associated with the north and winter, for these are dark, dense, and in their own ways impenetrable. Earth casts a shadow, and as the sun swings through the south each day, shadows swing across the north. In winter occur the longest nights of the year. So, there's the north. It's often, despite it's often said of it in so many teachings that we hear about that Earth is somehow the enemy of the spirit. People talk about being the soul being trapped in the body, the world being a veil of tears. We've all heard these things from different philosophies. And the often New Age idea of ascension, getting out, kind of escaping the earth world. So, Earth is a faithful, in my view anyway, Earth is a faithful partner to the spirit world. It's not its adversary. And I think most shamanists consider the material world an expression of the spirit realm. They're not two separate things. You know, it's where the spirit world creates and has sensual experiences. And it's the arena where we incarnate. It's the ground in which life arises. Um, so, I mean, that's I've often commented on this when we talk about our spirit helpers. When we merge with our spirit helpers, we are giving them something. We are giving them an experience of physicality, of sensuality that they don't have in the spirit world. Um, we sort of have this our delusion that, oh, once you get into the spirit world, you have everything and you know everything. Well, that's not really what happens. Again, I think I said this before. Just because you die and go into the spirit world doesn't make you any smarter than you are now. You may see more things, but it doesn't make you a different being. So, and the spirits depend on us for some of their experience. Um, just like we depend on them. So when we leave that other world, the other world, and incarnate, then we come into a body. This earthly physical body with a structure and some degree of stability to contain and shape the other elements that are part of our living body. Um, and I mean, it's a double-edged sword because we all know there are those physical ailments um, that make it less than fun, and we wonder why the hell are we doing this? Um, uh, but it's there along with the beauty of everything. Um, but anyway, the body itself has its own spirit and its own intelligence, as does every single cell in the body. It is its intelligence that holds it together and makes it function in a way, in its way, to do its job, in our body. Now, of course, we know our genetics are a part of what shapes us physically, but we're not really interested in that aspect of our bodies right now. We're interested in the function of the spirit of Earth that's providing the vessel of our incarnation. So I'm looking at Earth as a partner here, as just as like an equal partner and of equal value as the other three elements there. Any thoughts about all of that? Or rebuttals? I mean,
I have a question.
Sure.
Why would Earth not be a partner?
Well, there are these certain philosophies and theologies that refer to Earth as inferior.
What's their
Uh,
reasoning?
pardon?
What's their reasoning? What's their
I,
argument?
I don't know that there's reasoning particularly. I don't know.
Okay.
Um, I mean, it's not just Western Christianity that does that. Eastern religions do it, um, and New Age people do it. The
Oh,
Gnostics,
is
the
that
Gnostics did it.
sex shaming? Sensuality issues?
Yeah. hmm
Okay. Oh,
hmm Yeah. I mean, imagine if we actually sort of enjoyed the world and our sensuality and our senses. I think we'd be a little less controllable, than to say, um, here you are, you're here, and this is a place of being tested, or in somehow punished, or you have to do good here so that you can really go to a good place.
mm,
But but you can't acknowledge that this is really a good place because that'll make the other good place less attractive,
Mhm.
like harps and golden streets. It doesn't appeal to me. Um,
Or
and I wouldn't want the people that probably meet there. I wouldn't be interested in. Um, so it's a strange. I mean, to me, again, but there are people that really believe this, and I really suspect it's people who are they become alienated from themselves, from the world, from their souls, and from the people around them. Then they have no grounding anymore, and so they want to escape. They want to escape because they've forgotten why they're here, and the goodness that could be found here. And so the theologies of alienation take over, and of the denial of pleasure and putting it into the future. Um, it to me, it's a little insane. In fact, in my this last book that I did, the Shadows in the Light of God, whatever that book, I think I started in there somewhere with sort of calling the original sin the alienation and depersonalization, the othering of the world and people. Because when we start othering them, then we're alone, struggling for control and finding security and safety in strange ways. So anyway, yeah, I guess I could go on for that. Any other thoughts about Earth? Yeah, Jill.
Thanks for speaking to that, Carl, and for bringing that up, Aaron, because that feels so relevant to me. Because when you talked just a few minutes ago about Earth being a partner,
Mm.
just part of us, and we're part of the Earth, and like I can know that in my head
Mm-hmm.
and try to come up with ways to like make that feel real. But I grew up in that other environment of being so disconnected. Like life here was just about putting up with it as the best we can until we can get out of this terrible place. And it just changes everything. And the world is so different. Everything is so different. To think of the earth as a partner and all
Mm.
these parts of the earth. It's just, anyway, thank you for
Yeah.
speaking to that.
What you said just made me think of the astrological signs, the Earth signs. It's a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Now, so if it's all Capricorn, then it's responsibility and being serious, and putting off immediate gratification for long-term goals,
Mm-hmm.
which is okay. But if you're only that, Virgo is about work and coworkers, and refining things. Well, that's a little lighter, you know. But Taurus, that's about sensory things and pleasure and stability and having stuff that reflects our values. And I guess it would take all three of those to balance the Earth experience. So,
In some ways of thinking.
in what? I'm sorry.
In some ways of thinking.
Yeah.
Other ways of thinking might say one of those or two of those is all we need. And if the whole world would just listen and live by that, we'd have a nice life.
Yeah. 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 I don't buy it though. But yeah. Anything else? Well, before we journey, let's take a little break. 5 minutes. Is that, what would that be? 7.5 minutes after the hour. And we'll be back. Okay, thanks.
Here.
Okay. There's occurred to me during the break, I don't know what, I forget, I don't know what century this is from. It's an old Persian poem called the Rubaiyat, by a man named Omar Khayyam, which means Omar the tent maker. One of the verses says, I sent my soul through the invisible, some letter of that afterlife to spell. And by my soul returned and said, I myself am heaven and hell. So, people come up with all kinds of philosophies to try to explain or justify. Sometimes it's identity politics. Sometimes it's boundaries. Sometimes it's shaming. I mean, all those psychological. It's enough to make me want to be a psychologist. Oh, I was. Okay. I get serious here for a minute. Well, so Earth. We're gonna. This will be another partly guided journey, and this is the one where I particularly suggested if you can to lie down, but you don't have to by any means. It's just to have that sense of sinking into the earth, because I'll take you into to the earth as your body dissolves into pure consciousness as you move toward the center of the earth, where we want to meet the spirit of earth. Okay. And once there, I'll prompt you to engage with that spirit, maybe to inquire as to what it wanted to provide you, in this vessel for your incarnation. Where's this? There's something in that initial affirmation. We are here in this place now. Clay and water from the earth, sun and wind from the heavens, a divine home for soul. This is what the body is, a divine home for soul. And we're above the worlds and on the threshold of the horizonless other world. And so, you hear it said the body's a temple. So anyway, so I distracted myself there. I'll prompt you to engage with the spirit of the earth, maybe to inquire as what it wanted to provide you in the beginning, and maybe what you might need to know about this physical side to your identity, because we have both sides of our identity. Or you might simply be inclined to commune and attune with that spirit, until I begin to call you back into the physical incarnation. Okay? And that thing about lying down, I really don't lie down much when I do journeys, because I'll either go into too deep a trance or fall asleep. So I find it easier to just stay in between those states if I sit up. So, it's always up to you. Okay. Any questions where we're headed? Okay. I think this is a little bit longer than the other one. as always, first join with your helpers. Perhaps they have some way of preparing you. Or spending time with you. Or celebrating your presence there with them. Because they do love you. And come now to your physical body, resting on the surface beneath you. Some part of you touching the floor beneath you that rests in its own way on the earth. And begin to feel the sinking into the earth. Let gravity pull you in, though you would sink through the floor, through the earth, through the soil, just as easily as moving through the air. And as you become part of the earth, first your skin begins to dissolve. And the earth is your skin. And still the center pulls you lower, deeper. And your organs of perception dissolve, along with your internal organs. The earth absorbs them all, along with all the bodily fluids. And almost to the center, even the bones of your body dissolve as into the stones. And all that remains is your consciousness. The center, where the spirit of the earth awaits you. Feel its presence, its intelligence, its stability, its wisdom. we could ask the first question: what is this vessel of mine made for in this incarnation? What is my vessel made for in this incarnation? What else do I need to know about being in body, or about living in this earthly world? What do I really need to know about being in body and living in this earthly world? What does it feel in that presence? Of course, it's not confined just to the center of the earth. It's as immense as the earth, as the whole physical world. It embraces you, does everything possible to support you. And from this state of pure consciousness, still the surface of the earth calls to you. Slowly, your formless consciousness begins to move. Stones take the shape of your bones. Mycelial networks come and remake your organs. Further, underground waters take their places as the fluids in your body. Near the surface now, and the soil is shaped by the networks of life into your skin and all the flesh covering your body. And that whole reconstituted, renewed body is once more on the surface where you are now, refreshed, renewed. And for a moment, just rest and breathe gently, aware of the sensuous air that enters and leaves your nostrils and mouth. What a glorious thing this body is, a child of the earth. And your helpers there. See if there's more for you to gain from this. Do they have more to tell you about your earthly experience? Most of us have been exposed to different kinds of meditation. And I would say that they all have a place. You know, but it's dangerous to be stuck in one. Paran Bear, a Sufi meditation guy, he's written a couple of books, I think. One of his ideas, I mean, he warns against, he used to practice the samadhi meditations that are sort of a yogic thing of going up and out. And that's success, to be able to get up and out. And he says that, well, he stopped doing that at some point. But he said the people that he knew that stayed with that eventually started to have neurological difficulties. And his advocacy is more like the Sufis, where the meditations are down and in. You know, meditations of the heart. And that's actually more healing and not so dangerous as staying up and out. I mean, if you keep abandoning the body, what's the body going to think? Like, you know, you never send me flowers, you don't pay me attention. The body needs the soul like the soul needs the body. Um, so just some thoughts there. And if you think about, the more modern sort of types, the mindfulness, like it starts with them, the mindfulness meditations or the heart math. Those of you that are familiar with heart math, it's about the heart. It's pulling things down out of the head, because most of us, for most of us, our energy is sort of caught up in our head, in our thinking. And these other meditations try to bring it down into the body, into the heart, or into the navel, or into the senses, like some of the sensory or mindfulness things. And as I said, there's a place to go up and out, but it doesn't seem to be healthy to stay there. It can be a good break, but being stuck there, you end up broken. It seems. So any thoughts or things you want to share about your experience with Earth?
Carl, if
Mm-hmm.
I may comment on what you were just talking about,
Sure.
I was just kind of thinking about like the journeying we do and different meditations, some where you leave your body. It kind of made
Mm-hmm.
me think about soul retrieval a little bit. Like when you're constantly leaving due to trauma or whatever, when people do it intentionally, it feels like it would almost seem like the same thing. If you were intentionally always trying to be away, you wouldn't come back. You'd have to have somebody go get you, I would think. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
just made me think of soul retrieval when you were talking about so maybe if there's a way to do these meditations to bring yourself back in before you need the soul retrieval. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I mean, I just kind of feel like from the different things I've studied, they all seem to go together a little bit.
Yeah. I think you're right. The going up. We do journeys. If we're doing the soul flight as traditionally thought of, we're leaving the body to go to another world, but we always come back. And the return journey, and that's why this the structure of the traditional journey is so important. Is you go a certain way and you come back then that same way, and you're rerouting yourself in your body. The difference is in trauma, or the out of body experiences or fright. We get scared out of the body, a piece of us is out there. It's soul loss, you know. And meditation could create the same alienation from the self, if we don't always, come back and restore the value of the earthly vessel. John O'Donoghue, the Irish poet, referred to this as our clay home.
And
Yeah.
if it just it has been mentioned to me by people recently, a couple of different people that, gosh, I don't feel in my body. I don't feel like I'm here.
Hmm.
And that kind of makes me think that's what you're talking about. Whether, even
Exactly.
if it's not intentional, if you're
Yeah.
trying to forget what's going on right here, it, yeah, it sounds like what's going on today, too.
Yeah. Because our minds we're scattered, so much. A healer that I knew, out east, really excellent. her definition of anxiety is you're out of body. And her healing technique for that was essentially like energetically to pull you back into the body. So she'd go down at your feet and like pull you back into your body, and it worked. And that's what happens with things that we say I'm beside myself. Well, yeah, some of these colloquialisms are not symbolic. Yeah, Brenda. You're muted.
Also, the saying, come back to your senses. I like that. Come back to your
Yes.
senses.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Kathy.
My dog likes your drumming, and
Oh.
Wolfie will come and lay down right next to me all the time when you're drumming.
Oh. Well,
How now, when I in meditation get too far away and out of my body, he will wake up and start barking at me. It's like my own little come back to me, come back to earth type of thing. And
oh.
the other day, last week, I was driving to Ely. And between Virginia and Ely, there are some rolling hills. And I mean, they're really high. You feel like you're on a high roller coaster. And when I had the feeling of going up, and it's like I didn't want to go back down. And I felt like I was staying up there.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to, when I got near Ely, I actually had to stop the car and get out and walk.
Mm.
And the earth and the beautiful trees and the energy of that area just allowed me to get back into my body at another level.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I think we've all heard of forest bathing.
Yeah.
That's particularly, I don't say popular, but recommended. Like in Japan, you can get a prescription for it, I understand, if that's true. It's so recognized, and some of it is the terpenes or the chemicals that the trees give off, but some of it's just I think just the presence. These beings, they're so ancient and so connected. This is a little off the topic. I was listening to an audiobook by Peter Voleben about trees, and talking about how trees create their own climate. Forests, the temperature in a forested area can be 37 degrees cool in a city area, because they cool it. They put moisture in the air, and then they create clouds that then brings rain, and they create this low pressure system that draws in more moisture. So it's just like, so here's this earthly combination of water and earth put to life through the lives of the trees, if they're in their natural forests,
Right.
rather than a monoculture plantation like we tend to do. It works somewhat, but not as well. Anyway, that's a little off.
Can I go a little more off?
Okay.
I was hearing this week about trees walking. Now we have a couple trees by work that actually the branches will come down to us and it feels like they're touching us. And they do get very close when we go out there for a break. But I'm fascinating, and I'm wondering if anybody had seen or heard of walking trees, because I'm beginning to hear more and more about it, and I don't know if it's a myth or if it's reality.
I haven't heard of like physically walking like we walk because I mean they're
Mm-hmm.
rooted in the earth, except that some there are trees that propagate by roots, and there's one I think it's in the northwest. If somebody knows, I forget. I don't know if it's birch or I forget what kind of tree or aspen. It's this. It's a gigantic. It's a forest, but it's actually one tree.
Mm-hmm.
It's all these trees. So in that sense, they just keep moving. And the I know the conifers here are I think 100 miles north of where they used to be in Minnesota because of the warming climate. They don't like the heat, and so they're moving north, sort of by gradual seeding. I mean, so they move in a sense with climate. But now, as like Ents in Lord of the Rings, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Heidi.
If you Google it, there are some time-lapse videos. And they look like they're walking, but it's very, very, very slow, only it's time lapse.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it's just that the earth is shifting, but it's one of those things where you see the videos and you can't tell if it's real or it's kind of a mystery, but Google it, it's quite fascinating. So yes, Kathy, I've heard of it.
Oh, cool. All
I had
right.
also heard of it, but I thought it was a joke, so
Oh, I don't
had
know.
paid it no heed.
But if you're
But
interested in trees and the way trees communicate, and mother trees will feed their children, their offspring, and selectively. These books by Peter Voleben are really good. I think he has a nice way of putting it, and he makes them sound alive and their observations of things. And he has their interactions with nature around them. So, okay, why don't we do a formal closing, and then like I'll hang around as usual after if people want to talk some more. So. Thank you to the spirits of this place for your hospitality and for embracing us and allowing us to walk with you and live within you. The time of our parting has come, and we'll go, but we'll turn our attention elsewhere. But we appreciate you being with us. Thank you. Spirits that ride the west wind. Thank you for the things we've learned tonight from each other and from our experience, and for giving us the vision of our relationship with water and earth. The time of parting has come. Go if you must, or stay if that be your will. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you spirits of the north, we thank you for being here, for giving us the dreams of the darkness, and the courage to go into the darkness and to go return to our lives. The time of parting has come. Go if you must, or stay if that be your will. We thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And powers to the powers of the East. We thank you for being here, for your revelations, the opening eye, for showing us what has been hidden. And thank you for every morning that comes and at the break of day. Go if you must, or stay if that be your will. Thank you. And to the spirits that ride the south wind, thank you for being here and giving us the words and to tell our stories, to tell our experiences, and the music that could come, music that's always with us. The time of parting has come. Go if you must, or stay if that be your will. Thank you. Thank you. It is done. Thank you all for being here and helping distract me from today's events.
Thank you, Carl.
Sure.
Teamwork.
Mark, we did this. We did this together.
We needed to.
Yeah.
Good distraction.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
Thank you. Okay.
Have a good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Good
You
night.
too. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Peace. May the force be with you.
May there be peace throughout the land.
Ah.
I like that.